Today, we're taking a look at what's happening in gaming and tech news. Let's get to it. Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut is now available for PC from both Steam and Epic storefronts, and there's a lot going on with this release. Let's hit the good stuff first. The game itself is a beautifully crafted open-world RPG set on Tsushima Island, a location that acts as all that stands between mainland Japan and a massive Mongol invasion during the 13th century. If you're familiar with Assassin's Creed open-world RPGs, then at a high level, you're also going to be familiar with the core game mechanics of Ghost of Tsushima. The story is fun, and the combat is really good, and you'll find RPG elements throughout quite a few of the game systems. This was one of our favorite games here back when we played it on the PS4, and we were really excited when we heard that it was getting a PC port. As for the port itself, there's not a ton of reviews in yet, but over at Steam, some of the positive feedback calls out that the game looks and runs great, which is exactly what we were all hoping for. We've picked the game up ourselves, and we've been playing it here, and we can confirm it looks and plays great. However, we mentioned positive user feedback here, and here comes the not so good stuff. Because there's quite a bit of negative user feedback, but it almost all has to do with a couple of Sony's decisions around PSN account requirements. Multiplayer here is locked behind said PSN requirement, and as a result, much like the situation that we saw with Helldivers 2, this has resulted in the game being delisted from over 170 regions. We think this Steam user review sums up the situation quite well. At any rate, outside of the noise around PSN requirements, the port seems to be great, which is awesome to hear, because this was one of our favorite PS4 titles, and by all accounts, it's looking like the PC version is almost everything we could have asked for. Almost. Head over to Steam or Epic and check it out if you want to learn more. While we're on the subject, let's hit some other loosely related Ghost of Tsushima items. As announced, Ghost of Tsushima is also the first game to use Sony's new PlayStation PC overlay. If you already have a PSN account, it's fairly straightforward to set up. Simply launch the game, and select the PlayStation Overlay menu option, and follow the prompts there. The first time you select this option, it'll walk you through the login process and a few EULAs. We're not sure if this next bit is a bug or not, but we had to restart the game to get the overlay to actually work, but once it worked, it was fine. Currently, it's a pretty bare-bones experience. You're given 5 menu items: Search, Friends, Trophies, Profile, and Settings. Looking at the Friends list option, you can see that it's just a list of your PSN friends along with their online status. For us, the star of the show here is the Trophies section. It gives you quick access to check the trophies for the current game that you're in, along with every game that you own for that matter. Personally, we think that a bare-bones start is preferable to a messy, broken start, so we'll take it, because it does what it's set out to do with very little overhead. We're hoping that Sony has plans to bring over a few more features, because we'd love to see them light up useful features like community game help in this overlay. The next bit that we wanted to cover here is that Ghost of Tsushima has surpassed all other single-player Sony games to take the concurrent peak crown over at Steam. We'd love to see this for a few reasons. First, this is yet another reason for Sony to continue bringing their games over to PC. Second, if you couldn't already tell, we think that Ghost of Tsushima is criminally underrated. So on a personal level, we love to see that this game is being so well received. And the PC port is exceptional, which is a good segue to the last bit that we wanted to cover here. Ghost of Tsushima on PC not only supports everything from super ultra-wide to DualSense controllers, but Nvidia released a game-ready driver update that lights up DLSS 3, DLAA, and reflex support, which looks to give an average of 2.6 times performance boost when using DLSS at 4K. There's a game profile for it in GeForce Experience, which can be a good starting point if you just want to get up and running with minimal tinkering. All of this PC love is great to see. In an almost first-of-its-kind move, GOG has announced that they're working directly with the folks making Fallout London, Team Folon, to host the upcoming mod/expansion. Back in April, right before the modpocalypse hit, there was talk of the file size being close to 40 gigs in total, and how that made using Nexus mods a challenge. But this talk was quickly overshadowed by the news that the next-gen mod would put Fallout London on indefinite hold, because Team Folon were learning about the next-gen release date at the same time everyone else was. Given the scope of the next-gen update, that tossed a serious wrench in their release plans, which at the time were just about a week away. Now that next-gen has hit and the dust is starting to settle, the folks over at Fallout London are looking to solve the file hosting issue, and that's where GOG comes in. TheGamer.com has an article covering the whole situation, but the TLDR is that people over at GOG heard about the file size hosting issues and decided to reach out to Team Folon to let them know that GOG was interested in helping out in that space. At the start of this section, we mentioned that this is almost a first-of-its-kind move, because you could argue that Steam and GOG did this with the Skyrim Total Conversion mod Enderall Forgotten Stories, another massive fan-made project for another Bethesda game. So it feels like this isn't entirely uncharted territory. We've been watching Fallout London for quite some time now, so this is all great news to us. The mod looks like it's back on track to get another release window, and now the folks over at GOG have stepped in to make sure that it has a home once it's ready. Fortnite is getting in on that Fallout TV show action by way of a Fallout Fortnite collab. So far, we only have this Twitter post for anything official, but they also released a YouTube short for Chapter 5, Season 3, Wrecked. And I don't know if it's confirmation bias kicking in here, but this has given us some slight Mad Max post-apocalyptic vibes. While it's always cool to see collabs like this, we're guessing that this one in particular might come with a slight sting for some Fallout 76 players. Back in the day, Fallout 76 had a Battle Royale mode called Nuclear Winter, and in the context of Fallout 76 itself, Nuclear Winter was a fun addition to the game, and it gave players more ways to play, which is always a good thing. Now, having said that, Nuclear Winter was a bit of a reactionary addition to the game, getting an announcement and release date around the time that everyone else was trying to hop on the Battle Royale bandwagon, and it really only appealed to the current Fallout 76 player base. It wasn't seeing the numbers that Bethesda was hoping for, so they cut Nuclear Winter as a game mode back in September of 2021. And to be honest, I was sad to see it go. I probably spent 15% of my game time in that mode, but that number went up as I hit endgame and was looking to mix things up. And I'm guessing I'm not alone in being among those who were sad to see it go. So this collab is cool to see, and we fully expect it to come with a bunch of cool skins. So don't be surprised to see a few longtime Fallout 76 players chime in about the good old days of Nuclear Winter once this collab launches. During the aftermath of the recent Xbox studio closures, we learned that Arcane Austin was working on a fairly large update for Redfall that was set to be released this May. But social media posts and leaked executive talks made it seem like all work on Redfall was officially done. When we covered all of this, we were upfront with how we felt about the game. We started playing after the second major update, and we had quite a good time playing. It wasn't a great game, but it also wasn't a bad game by any measure that we use here. It was a good game with an excellent atmosphere that had a terrible launch. So we were a bit sad at the time of reporting, because we thought that the upcoming update was only going to make us like the game even more. And it was the update that was rumored to have an offline mode, which was something that we've wanted to see since we started playing. But on Friday, May 17th, the Redfall social media account posted that they are in fact working on that final update. And not only will it have an offline mode, but they're rolling out other features like single-player pausing, and updates to the neighborhood and nest systems, and more, according to the post. So as gamers, we're a little less sad now, because we already like the game, and seeing one of your guilty pleasure games get an update is always a good thing. But outside of the as a gamer thing, it's still a sad reminder that this will likely be the last update we ever see because Microsoft closed the studio. Speaking of Microsoft, Hellblade II launched on the 21st, and much like what we've seen from Microsoft's gaming portfolio in the recent past, critics seem to be kind of split, indicating that Microsoft has another good but maybe not great game in their portfolio. But much like the original game, there's a chance that your thoughts and enjoyment levels of the game are going to be a reflection of how you think about mental health in general. We played the first Hellblade and enjoyed every aspect of it, but one of the best parts of the original game was its lasting impact on the conversations around how we talk about mental health. It was unique in that the game not only depicted psychosis in a way that made sense in the context of the game, but also in that they consulted with mental health experts to make sure that they were doing so with a level of empathy rarely seen in modern gaming, or even movies or TV for that matter. Instead of portraying Senua's struggle in a stereotypical manner and using it as a plot device for the character to work around, Hellblade leaned into it and deeply incorporated it into the game in a way that allowed players to almost live her experience. It was unique and incredibly well done, and added a layer of authenticity to the game. Based on critic feedback, it looks like Hellblade 2 is having a similar effect on the overall player experience. If you're interested in exploring mental health issues as a lived experience, then you're probably going to see the game much differently than someone who's looking for a traditional video game experience, and that's okay. Like the original game, Hellblade 2 is more like an interactive digital experience than it is a traditional game at times, and perhaps even more so this time around. And while we do love that Ninja Theory was allowed to essentially make the Hellblade game that they wanted to make here, we're also concerned that Microsoft is going to end future development of niche games like this, because it's clear that their focus is on titles that make a lot of money, and not on digital art like we have here with the Hellblade series. From Software dropped a new trailer for the upcoming Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and instead of showing a bunch of gameplay, this trailer focuses on the story of Mekula the Kind. Oh, and it confirms the June 21st release date. It's as haunting and beautiful as anything that we've ever seen from an Elden Ring trailer, and much like the rest of the lore in the game, uncovering the story here looks like it'll be as obtuse as anything else we've done in Elden Ring. And we wouldn't want it any other way, because part of the allure of Elden Ring was how you uncovered lore in the game to learn about the family feud between nobles that was the core story that the rest of the lore was built upon. And while we would have liked to have seen a journal that kept better track of these lore items as you uncovered them, the non-linear storytelling only added to the mystery. And let's face it, also the obtuseness of trying to figure out what was going on in the game world at any given time. We're huge lore nerds here at Overload headquarters, so by default, we love that this trailer exists. But we've watched it several times now, and there's a lot of intentional scenes and wording in the trailer. So we won't spoil anything here, and instead will let you peel back those layers on your own, because that's when Elden Ring lore is at its best. This trailer drops exactly 1 month before the DLC releases, and you can pre-order the game now at your favorite digital storefront. CD Projekt Red took to social media to announce the official launch of The Witcher 3 Redkit, which gives PC gamers the ability to create mods for The Witcher 3 using the same world-building tools that CD Projekt used to build the game itself. From the official blurb, The Witcher 3 Redkit offers a plethora of advanced features, as well as full Steam Workshop integration, making publishing and using mods easy for both creators and casual players. As a repurposed, reworked, and extended codebase of Red Engine 3, it gives modders unparalleled freedom in creating new quests, characters, locations, and more. Today's release was accompanied by a trailer that features some of the modding possibilities contained within the tool, as well as an overview of its major features. We're pretty excited to see this release, because while we love modding games, we love it more when there's both an official tool from the developer and official support from major mod locations like Nexus Mod and Steam Workshop. We're currently installing the toolkit as we record this video, so we haven't gotten any hands-on time with it yet, but based on what we've seen in the trailer, it looks similar to Bethesda's world creation kits for their Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, which we have thousands of hours with. Hopefully, as a result of this tool, in a few months, we'll be reporting on a Fallout London-sized mod project for The Witcher 3. I want to mention our Patreon. As a subscriber, you'll be listed as a producer of our content. You'll also get access to our custom game cover art that we've put together over the years. You'll likely see it in action in some of our videos. This art works great with custom launchers and really goes a long ways in making a digital game collection look awesome. So click on the link below, head on over to our Patreon, and become a producer today. And that about wraps things up. Please like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe to our channel if you want more content like this. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and we'll chat again soon.